talk about how people have traveled around the world, and you're working though for Lausanne. And I want to introduce. I know many people that listen to our show are familiar with Lausanne, others are not. Introduce us to Lausanne and what Lausanne does.
Lausanne is a global network of Christian leaders from various walks of life: pastors, evangelists, missionaries, teachers, homemakers, business people, leaders of all kind who believe in a historic Christian faith. And it began with Billy Graham and John Stott, two great leaders of the Euro-American church in the 50s and 60s. They've called together men and women from around the world for a gathering on every few years to renew their commitment to evangelism and mission, understanding the historic Christian faith. And so they kept meeting in different places. One significant event that happened in the city of Lausanne in 1974, and which is believed to be the one large gathering. There were Christians from many, many nations who met together. But all through Christian history, there are many councils, Nicene Council. Whenever a church gets into a crisis or a problem or issues facing the church, they convene leaders of the church from around the world, or at least that region of the world, and then try to take on the issue and define a doctrinal statement, revisions in the doctrinal statement, priority areas of focus for the church and the community and the Christian faith. So every now and then they have met together all through history. And in our times, that a significant event was the evangelical movement that was shaped by Billy Graham and John Stott, who was an Anglican pastor in England. And so they created a platform for the leaders from around the world to convene in the city of Lausanne in Switzerland. And they framed a statement of belief, like what is called as Lausanne Covenant. And it was framed in Lausanne. And so like Nicene Creed was shaped in a city called Nicaea. And, so like that. So they framed a historic Christian belief, a doctrinal statement, and everybody agreed and signed on it. And that became one of the most accepted global statement of faith. And since then, they said, that was a great meeting. We should keep meeting every now and then. And then subsequent to that, they met in 1989. There was another gathering in the year 2000 called Amsterdam 2000. And then the Lausanne, our third Congress happened in Cape Town in South Africa. And now we are preparing to meet for the fourth Lausanne Congress in Seoul in South Korea in 2024.
I want to go. How do you get an invitation, or can I just totally sneak in?
Yeah, it is by invitation only.
Right.
We're talking about the global church. There are 3 billion Christians in the world. And we have room for 5,000 people in person and 5,000 people online.
Wow, that's amazing. So you have to be pretty exclusive in who you allow in and who you don't allow in.
Yeah, but it's not, of course, younger leaders, we really, have a committee who really decides the process. And so we have a process in place. So they are choosing, electing, stewarding the platform in a way that will have lasting kingdom impact for 2050. Lausanne leadership has been talking about what need to happen by 2050 and 2100. So beyond our lifetime, how do we create something that will gain momentum for the coming decades, will have lasting impact on the shape of Christianity on the planet by the end of this year, the end of the century. And so that'll outlive all of us. So how can we steward well what God has entrusted to us, a branding, a platform, a set of stewardship, and create the connections and friendship. Lausanne's tagline is connecting leaders and ideas for missions. And so global missions, so what does it mean? What are some emerging ideas and emerging leaders and emerging networks that need to be connected with each other so that this gospel work in this century will gain greater momentum?
That's kind of the focus. Fantastic. That's a huge and monumental task to be able to gather these leaders, and you have a specific focus within Lausanne? I mean, you do a lot of different things, but your main title is what? Your main area is what?
My title is Global Catalyst for Diasporas. Migration and diaspora has become a major focus area for the church worldwide since 2010. So every time Lausanne has met, they have also identified some area of focus. So in 1974, when they met, they talked about this idea called Unreached People Group, UPGs. That was a new idea. And we know
and that
in
was
the
in
last
2010?
years, 1974.
Wow.
1974.
Oh, 74 is when that started.
1974, UPG came as an idea on the mission platform. It was the professor from Fuller Seminary who stood on the Lausanne's platform and say that we have to define people by UPG, anthropological definition, rather than nationality. And until then, reaching the nations was the idea. And he unpacked the Great Commission was talking in terms of ethnos, people group, anthropologically defined it. And that became one of the defining criteria. And then 1989 in Manila Congress, the big focus was integral mission. Latin America theologians and missiologists brought that to attention. Another big idea was 1040 window and a priority area to reach gospel between the latitudes of 10 and 40 between Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And that becomes a major focus area across many religions of the world. And so that was a big focus area till the end of the millennia, 2000 or so. 2000, big ideas that emerged out of the 2000 and those gatherings were cities. A city was a big focus area because by 2000, March or April of that year, the world population tilted towards more urban than rural. 50.2% or something become urban. So more of this 21st century is going to be urban century, urban missiology, urban poverty, urban church. All of that become the focus area for study and research and work and resources and deployment and all that. So 2010, when we met in Cape Town, the idea that gained most traction, one of the ideas was migration and diaspora.